What's up, everybody? My name is Gus, and it's time to create. Alright, what's up, everybody? So, first off, I want to just state, if I look disheveled, exhausted, dirty, a mess, it's because I am, okay? Work was hard. Work was exhausting today. I sweat so much, and I'm in IT. I had to lift up a 50-inch monitor, and I had to take it from inside of the terminal into the airfield on a freaking dolly and carry it down the flight stairs. It was hard, okay? So just give me a little bit of grace today. I know I look like crap, but we're here. So, I just want to talk a little bit about the channel. So, why did I rename? Well, Glitchy Key, it was an important name for me. I created it completely, just thought of it. The way that I came about that name is, for a little bit of context, for those of you that don't know, I suffer from depression and anxiety. Also, I just recently was diagnosed with ADHD, so go figure. But as far as all that goes, growing up through high school, I always kind of knew something was wrong with me. As far as all that stuff, I knew something was wrong with me, but I didn't really have a clear picture of what it was. I thought, it'll pass, so on and so forth. But it never did. And it wasn't until I got some pretty bad news one day and I had my first ever panic attack that I finally decided, maybe I should go get checked out for this. And I did. And, went through the whole process, got everything. So, I think that's around the time I almost started Twitch, around that area. And so Key, for those of you that don't know, it's also pronounced Chi. It depends on which pronunciation you want to go with. One's Chinese, one's Japanese, one's American. It's really hard to really pick. I like to go Key. It just makes more sense for me personally. But Key is life energy. Glitchy, life energy. Maybe sometimes my whole energy isn't always on. Maybe I'm sometimes dealing with stuff, and sometimes I'm not doing the best, and my life energy is just a little bit off. And that's why I came up with the name. Not to mention GQ, those are my initials. I don't feel like I need to give you my full name, but my first name is Gus. Well, Gustavo. I go by Gus. That's where we were at. But the problem with the name, I came up with it when I was strictly just doing video game things. And I think it was perfectly suitable for video game style content and things of that nature. But as I've graduated college, as I've started doing other side activities, I just felt like it was a little bit, not unprofessional, but not really representative of the type of channel that I wanted to continue to put out. So I decided to rebrand. And rebrand I did, obviously. And I haven't really explained the whole process of why I went with this. So, a little bit more context about my past. I ended up graduating college in 2022, and I did 3D art and animation. Well, my actual degree was called entertainment art and animation, but I've primarily focused on 3D. I did do a good amount of 2D, mostly 2D actually, but 3D is where my passion lies. And for the longest time, I've wanted to get into the video game industry, and try to no avail. I have not been able to do that. As I just mentioned earlier in the video, I work for the airports in LA County, and I'm in IT there. So pretty unrelated to the video game side of things, but I've always been a really big fan of tech. I've always been a really big fan of art. It's not really one of the two things that I feel like kind of coincide with one another, but it is something that I am very passionate about nonetheless. So I ended up, kind of just like broadening my horizons. And, part of me, even though I haven't been able to get into the game industry, I have made a game. I've made 2 games technically. One of them was a student project that I did for my final. And then another one was another student project that I volunteered on for USC. And it's published on Steam. You can literally go play it right now if you guys want to. It's called Sorelli. It's a 3D platformer, and I did one of the 3 main characters' art, and I'm super proud of it. And the game did really well in their school, and it was even nominated for some indie awards for sound or music, and it's just a really awesome experience. I highly recommend, if this is going out to all my fellow artists or my fellow aspiring game devs or whatever it may be. I know the job industry, or just the industry in general, is just kind of crumbling, or it feels very hopeless. You see all these talented people getting laid off, and you're competing with them for these entry-level jobs. And there's a running joke within the video game industry that the people that are actually just graduating or competing, you need to have 5 years of experience. You need to have 5 years of experience for an entry-level job in the video game industry now. Make that make sense. And there's no other way to really get it, to get professional experience, the only way you can do it is to work. And if you can't get a job, you're out of luck. So, needless to say, the whole point of what I'm trying to get to is that while gaming is still something I'm extremely passionate about, I've started to, expand those things that I'm passionate about. So one of the things I want to do on the channel is to maintain an art project that I would provide updates with and show you guys the new things that I've done with it. And I even kind of want to do a development blog of vlog of me making a game. And it's going to be ultra simple. It's going to be me just as a one-man team, more than likely, unless I somehow convince other people to volunteer on it with me. But yeah, it's just, I want to do things like that, and under the name Glitchy Key, it just does not feel very appropriate. Another thing that I'm really passionate about now, that kind of came out of nowhere, but most of you guys know me now, which is odd to say, because most of you guys know me now through Robbie V or Mr. Fruit, and those two are obviously amazing people. Love them to death. They're just great people. Aside from the fact that they're incredible content creators and whatever, they're just really great people. But Rob and his now wife Sydney, they were unable to hire a videographer for their wedding. And I was like, well, I have a camera. I can do it. I mean, it might not be the best video ever, but it's something to help you guys remember the day. And Rob was like, you know, that would mean the world to me, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I did it. And when I do things, I tend to overcommit a little bit. So I bought a new camera, did not need it, but I did anyways, and it's an investment, and it's something that I'm passionate about, so I was okay doing that. But then I do this video, and I'm like, wow, I like this a lot. Like, I loved doing that. I was stressed. I was really anxious, because this was my first time ever doing any sort of, like, wedding photos or vlog, or I don't even watch wedding videos. Like, I don't think I had ever seen any before I started preparing for their wedding. So I went in the deep end. I was watching YouTube videos, I was reading tutorials, I was doing everything I could. And it came out great. At least I thought so for my first time. And they loved it. And, you know, doing that has gotten me opportunities to do photography or videos for other people. And it's like, I want to be able to show that stuff off too. So I am a creative at heart. So my name now is Gus Creates. And the only thing I've done on the channel up until this point was video game stuff. I did do my vlog for Japan, and that was another thing that I want to continue to do, which is what I'm kind of doing right now. And yeah, it's just like, there's all these things that I'm passionate about, and as you can see, I'm an hour into my drive. I still have another hour to go till I get home. I am not able to continue to manage multiple channels or anything like that. I just don't have the time. I don't have the energy. It's just not possible. So my goal is to have one centralized location for all of my content, and, you know, to be able to create a portfolio of some sorts, to be like, hey, I did this, I did that. You can see this here, you can see that here, and so on and so forth. And that's what I'm doing. Because another thing that I was doing that I don't know if you guys all are aware, but I used to do a movie podcast with, well, not just movies and TV podcasts, with my friends from high school. And, you know, COVID kind of threw a wrench in that whole thing, and ever since it's kind of just been hard to really do any of that anymore. So, you know, I'm still actively going to the movies like almost once a week at least. I'm still actively watching shows when I can, and I still want to talk about it. I miss talking about these things. I've almost even considered doing a Letterboxd, and I think what I'm thinking now for a Letterboxd is to write my review, and then I would read that review in video form for my channel. And I think that's something that would be kind of fun to do. And I mean, if you guys are interested, just let me know if that sounds like a cool idea or not. But yeah. And yes, I am driving right now. I live in LA County again. There is a lot of traffic. I'm like, the few times that I've looked at the camera, it's because I'm actually like at a complete standstill, pretty much. So I promise I'm being safe. I'm not actively interacting with my phone, and I have both hands on the steering wheel most of the time, besides the time I'm being animated and talking like this. And if I have both hands off, it's because I'm at a complete standstill. I promise I'm being safe. But yeah, I feel like in a way this is like a way to journal almost but just with my words, my voice. And I just like the idea of being able to, like, you know, maybe I can't record a video game video, edit it, and put it out in one day. I just literally, I get home around 6:30 p.m. I eat dinner, and then I'm in bed by like 8:39. So I only have like an hour and a half to 2 hours tops before I'm like, I'm out of it. And sometimes I try to work out, but that's also a whole nother story. But long story short, I am just trying to expand my horizons. And Gus Creates is just a way to showcase all the different things that I'm passionate about. And, you know, I've been recording for 15 minutes. I feel like I've been talking a lot longer, which is good because I don't want this to be like the longest video ever. But yeah, I just wanted to share my thought process in a little bit more depth. I know I kind of talked about it a little during one of my Claire Obscure Expedition 33 videos, but obviously that's a gaming video, and I got interrupted multiple times while I was doing that, and I don't even know if I really finished my whole thought process while I was talking about that. And I don't even know if that was even in the beginning of the video. This is probably like closer to the middle or end. So, you know, there's that as well. So I just wanted to talk about it in a little bit of detail to just give you guys an idea of where I am at. You know, I think we are all doing our own things and trying to get to a place that we feel comfortable in. And, you know, I felt like I was a little bit stuck under the name of Glitchy Key. And quite honestly, I almost gave up completely, quitting content. I just did not. My heart wasn't really in it anymore. And I love gaming. I still do. I still play whenever I have the chance. But it's really hard to just stick to one thing for me. Maybe that's the ADHD in me. I don't know. But I like to dip my toes into different things and experience new things and grow from it. Because there's things that I can learn from doing one thing versus the other. And, you know, me, for example, like if I go back into reviewing movies, I used to review them before, and what if I take it to that next level where I'm writing these letterbox reviews and then recording it to video? I am giving myself the opportunity to actually deeply analyze something and why I like it. And I've done this I did this in college quite a bit. I took a few film classes, and I wouldn't say I'm a critic by any means, but, you know, I understand some things about the filmmaking process and what makes a good movie, or vice versa. And I know I like plenty of bad movies, and I'm not saying I have the best taste in the world, because I know I don't. But I can understand where those things come from, and being able to analyze to that extent and using those things to then maybe aid me in my development of whatever game I do decide to make. Because being able to understand what's a good story or a good structure or good character or whatever, all that comes down to just, you know, just being able to look at something for what it is and understanding the things that are not being said. And I think that's just something that I can grow from. And I think there's a lot, like, across all of these different things. Composition is really important in photography, you know, getting the right shot. But, you know, composition is also really good for gaming too. I mean, like, when you see a cutscene when you see, box art or even loading screens, things like that, all of that kind of leads into one thing. You just kind of had to develop that eye for it. And I think doing it this way allows me to like have all these different branches that I can learn and grow from. And then go from there. Sorry, I was waiting for that truck to pass because it was pretty loud. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And that's where you guys will find me going forward for the foreseeable future. I don't anticipate that I'd ever really need to change my name again. I think it's something that is long-standing and can adapt to anything that I do on YouTube into the near or not foreseeable future. I don't really anticipate myself being a YouTuber going into like my 50s or something, but what if I am? What if I just really pop off one day? I don't anticipate it, but it is possible. But yeah, I was gonna say something else. There was something that just crossed my mind. I did that whole intro within DaVinci Resolve. It would have been so much easier if I had After Effects, but Adobe, I'm sorry, you're not getting my money. No matter what. You guys charge an arm and a leg when I can do everything, maybe with a little bit more steps, but I could do the same things within DaVinci Resolve. And I also bought DaVinci Resolve Studio because I wanted faster rendering times and blah, 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 blah. Long story short, doesn't matter. Shout out to Josh. I think he has a Spotify, so I'll be sure to put it either in the description. That's it, I think that's all I have to talk about for right now. I do want to do a review of Thunderbolts and Sinners and Andor. I don't know if there are TV shows on Letterboxd. I've never actually used Letterboxd, but that's kind of where my head was going with that. So if it is on there, then I will do a review of Andor because I'm not done with it. I still have 2 more episodes to go, but all I'll say right now, give the Gilroys whatever they want in Star Wars. Let them cook. They're doing the thing right now. That show is incredible. It's not just good Star Wars, it's good everything. Like good TV. It is like one of the best shows I feel like that's ever been created. I know that's a really lofty thing to say, but it's legitimately good. And it just happens to also be in Star Wars. Which, just kind of makes me a little bit sad because I'm just gonna end it with this. The thing that makes me sad about this whole thing is I love Star Wars. And I can love it when it's not the greatest. Shout out to The Acolyte. You weren't perfect. You had a lot of weird things going on. But goddamn, I'm so sad that it got canceled. I would have loved to see where they would have gone with that story. But such is life. But yeah, I just kind of hope that there's like some sort of cohesive voice within the Star Wars soon. I know it's kind of not the best comparison right now, but like a Kevin Feige that oversees everything to make sure that everything is actually prepared and thought out, because the new trilogy was just a complete fumble. I liked Force Awakens. I learned to like The Last Jedi and Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. That's a movie. That is something that happened. But you'll see more about my thoughts in the Andor review whenever that comes out. I'm probably going to do more videos of just me in my car driving home because I have literally nothing else to do but to listen to podcasts. So why not be productive while I am doing it? And if you guys are strongly against me doing this while driving, I will stop. But like I said, I'm being safe. I am taking the necessary precautions. I am not driving like a maniac. It's literally impossible because if you guys have been to LA, you can see cars are just stopped. It's a parking lot 97% of the time. And I'm moving right now because I'm changing freeways. But I'm about to stop in like 5 seconds. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. My name is Gus, and I hope you enjoyed what I created today. See ya.